subsequent to that, while the brand will continue to have some value, what the real value will be what you have achieved, what you have delivered, what you have contributed. And that, believe me, along with the IIT Madras brand, is a very, very potent brand. So please do not think this as some permanent passport, that the fact that we have an IIT Chapa on us. It is important, it is good, but we need to build on that on a continuous basis. Even in our work life, you today cannot live on past glories. You cannot say 10 years back I did this, 5 years back I did this, 3 years back I achieved this. The brilliant engineers who cracked the ZLD issue for the first time in the country in a large chemical complex can live in that aura for a few years. After that, people will forget it. They have to deliver on that and deliver on the high benchmark which they have set for themselves. So going forward, what will be the skill sets which organizations will look for? It will be an ability to work in teams. It will be an ability to understand that people far younger than you know much more than you. It will be having a positive attitude in life. It will be learnability, ability to learn, but more important, an interest to learn. Many of us believe that we have to learn what we have learned, and I see many examples of this, of people once they pass out of college believe that all their learning is over. There can be nothing more untrue than this. Learning here, in spite of the best faculty around, in spite of the best facilities around, is just the beginning. You're just scratching the surface. It is a continuous exercise on building it every day to ensure that you keep stretching yourself to learn more and more and more. Because the day you believe that you know everything, believe me, that day you're brain dead and you're finished. Irrespective of the age group we are in, irrespective of what position we have achieved, irrespective of what successes we have achieved, we cannot say that we have learnt it all. It is just not possible. As I mentioned before, organizations will look for process-driven people, people who work to a process rather than gut or instinct. I mean, gut feel and instinct are important, but gut feel and instinct coupled with a process-driven way of... Incidentally, some of this is not applicable to people who decide to go into R&D and things like that. I have no experience on that, so I cannot comment on what are the skill sets required on that. So for people who career choices are looking to go for R&D orientation, please disregard most of what I say. I mean, part of what I say is relevant, but a lot of it would not be appropriate. And obviously, a passion to excel. I must talk about life in IIT and how I miss it. As I told before, the 5 years I spent here were really the most joyous in my life. Was really a time when I learned what I learned, and what I am today is because of that. However, I urge you to learn whatever is offered in the curriculum. And what I'm going to share with you, believe me, Professor Nagarajan didn't ask me to say that, though it will look as if it's coming from him. Never think that in a course, where will I use this? I guarantee you, you will. You will use everything you studied. And if you believe that something which you are being asked to learn is not relevant, I guarantee you that will become even more relevant. It is Murphy's Law. I'll give you a couple of personal examples. When I was in the institute, I could never understand thermodynamics. I still don't understand it. Topics like entropy, enthalpy, and all are alien even now. I have a colleague sitting out here, and this is a colleague with whom I have a lot of technical discussions. So sometimes when I'm trying to appear more technical than what I am and trying to understand, and say in a heat transfer discussion, they suddenly use the word, throw the word enthalpy at me, and believe me, my contribution is over. Because I just do not understand what is being said after that. Please do not let this happen to you. Now, let me give you a positive example. As Professor Nagarajan said, I today am responsible for the chemicals group in India. About 8-10 years back, for about 5 years, I was shifted to our engineering business. We have a clutch of joint ventures where we make different products like mechanical seals, rupture discs, safety relief valves, control valves, and so on. Basically, products used in the chemical and petrochemical industry, used in power plants. And I used to manage 5 of these joint ventures. So I am neither a chemical engineer or mechanical engineer. So whatever I have learned in discussing and interacting with colleagues who are way, way younger than me, but far more knowledgeable. I have learned from things which I dredged out of my mind on the 5 years I spent in IIT. So one experience was the enthalpy entropy experience on, more enthalpy than entropy on heat transfer calculations. The other experience is that when I shifted to this and I was trying to learn each one of the products. So one of the products was mechanical seals. So there was this bright youngster who was a very sharp mind in the engineering division of the company Flowserve, which makes mechanical seals. And he tells me, if you know Bernoulli's theorem, you know how a mechanical seal works. Mercifully, I remembered how Bernoulli's theorem. And then when we discussed it, I understood what the product was. But if somebody had told me while I was studying how I would use Bernoulli's theorem, I would have found it very, very difficult to explain it. So I urge each one of you that please do not think that anything which is taught out here, anything which is a part of the curriculum is not relevant. Believe me, it is. To the guys passing out shortly, I suggest a very simple way of identifying the right company to work for. At the end of the day, there are only 3 things, in my opinion, which are relevant. Money, an opportunity to learn, and an opportunity to grow. There are some other minor things like location preference and so on, but they are relatively minor. Money is important. I mean, we can't live on love and fresh air, so we need money. So money is important. So if anybody says money is not important, I think they're not being true to themselves. But if somebody says it is only money, then also they're not being true to themselves, because a career has to be seen not by what you go through in the first few years of your life after you pass out from your institute. It is to be seen in a much, much longer span. So when you see this longer span, the opportunity to learn and the opportunity to grow become critical, become crucial. Because you may join an organization which gives you a lot of money but doesn't give you the other 2. So where would that leave you after a few years? As I said, money is important, but most good organizations will not be way out of what the market is. The proportion of these three is something very personal and cannot be dictated by anybody, even your friends. It can only be discussed with your friends, but ultimately you have to make up your mind as to which one of these three, what proportion you will apply for each one of them. It is something personal. But I would suggest that in an interview, ask the organization you are interviewing with what are the opportunities they give to learn and what are the opportunities they give to grow. What is the criteria for growth? They will obviously say the right things. Some of them won't even say the right things, but good organizations will say the right things. Then it is for you to test out by different methods on how well you accept what they have said and what they are saying. Is it good PR? Are they selling the company or are they genuinely meaning what they say? For instance, when somebody asks us in the interview, what are the opportunities to learn and what are the opportunities to grow, we talk about the training programs which we conduct, the percentage, the number of hours each one goes through. We talk about the growth of people. We talk about movement of people between functions, between industry segments. We talk about some typical examples of what people have achieved. For instance, our Cuddalore plant, where we today make something like 250,000 tons of PVC, is headed by a guy who's some 37, 38 years old. This is unheard of in the chemical industry. Because typically heads of locations in the chemical industry would be 50 plus. I'm just picking up one example which comes to my mind. There are many, many examples like this on youngsters who have achieved this, and they have not achieved this because they are the managing director's nephew or they are our chairman's first cousin's son or something of that sort. They are where they are because of what they have demonstrated, because of the potential they have, because of the delivery they have done consistently over a period of time, have shown an ability to learn, have shown an ability to take on more responsibilities, and so on. I'm really not giving you any career advice here or a choice of careers or things like that. But believe me, in the interview process, organizations value people who ask these questions because it means that you are thinking seriously about the organization you propose to join. It means that you have given this entire career process a lot of thought on what is it that you want to do and where is it that you want to reach. And I hope you take this in the right spirit, but please ask these questions with a lot of humility and not with the arrogance where I'm not saying that you will do it, but I have seen this being asked in a very, very negative way, which puts off people. In conclusion, you guys are really at the start of a journey in which I hope you will achieve all your hopes and aspirations, both professionally and personally. A passion for excellence will take you to that much higher and further and make your lives more joyful as well as rewarding.